I pulled some charts for this Mercury retrograde, and I've got some days to go over to share with you guys just to be mindful of the energy and what's coming up with this Mercury retrograde. So, real quick, welcome back to my channel. I am Brooke, and the first chart that I pulled up is going to be 11/12. So, November 12th, and we're going to have Mercury conjunct Mars. Now, we just had this transit on October 20th, and this was at 19 degrees of Scorpio. So there's going to be some themes coming back around from that day. And on that day, we had the AWS outage with Amazon, and we started seeing the No Kings protest popping up. So we could have some themes connected to what was going on in Scorpio coming up. There could even be protests that start on campuses. Keep in mind, Sag rules colleges. We could also hear of some of the changes that's going to be going on with school. Now, I want you all to remember on this day, be mindful of traveling. There was a lot of accidents during this time with this conjunction. There was a lot of car wrecks, plane crashes, train wrecks, okay? Mercury retrograde is notorious for accidents. Mercury rules our mind, it rules communication, it rules cars, it rules early childhood education, travel, okay? And it's going to be conjunct Mars, the god of war. So there could be a lot of accidents that happen this day. See some major hacks that develop with this conjunction here. The next day that I want to talk about is going to be November 17th. Now on November 17th, we're going to have Mercury sextile Pluto. Last time that we had this happen was going to be on October 30th, and this also took place at 1 degrees of Sag and Aquarius. Now keep in mind, Mercury was slowing down, Pluto was retrograde during that sextile. Some major themes that were going on then, there was mass casualties in Darfur, Sudan, and there was the trade deal that was done with China on that day. And we also had Hurricane Melissa. So we could hear and potentially see more develop with that trade deal of what's going on. There could even be new deals that are made. But there is going to be a theme coming back from October 30th with this retrograde, specifically on the 17th of November. The next day that I want to talk about is going to be November 19th. Now we're going to have Mercury opposing Uranus. If you are traveling, please call in protection. The last time we had this opposition was on 10/29. There was a lot of things that transpired that day, and just a couple of major themes. There was the trade deal with South Korea, and that was also the first day that the feds cut the rates. And the president in, and I don't want to mess this up, Tanzanian won the election, and the people revolted and literally overthrew the government and selected someone else. People were advised to leave and get out because things got a little crazy. Now we could hear and see more things like that transpire. This is not a day to be traveling. We could see birds wreck in the sky. There could also be a lot of car accidents on this day with that opposition being exact. Now this will also be a great day for instant downloads with them both being retrograde, but also pay attention to what's coming in for you. 11/19, we're going to have Mercury trine Neptune. Your mind could be extremely dreamy. You could be all up in the clouds on this day. Now, pay attention to your emotions, pay attention to your thoughts. There could even be sudden insight, sudden downloads, instant epiphanies with your gifts. Gifts could also truly be sparking and opening up on this day as well. Next day that I want to talk about is going to be 11/20. And on this day, we're going to have the Mercury and Sun Cazimi. Now, as you can see, they're going to be in that opposition with Uranus. Now, the last time that we had the Sun Cazimi with Mercury was on 9/13, and this took place at 20 degrees of Virgo. There was a lot of things that were brought up to the surface on that day. The DOD renamed that to the Department of WAR. There was 1,000 troops deployed to Louisiana on that day. And also RFK announced that he was meeting with the CEO of Tylenol to discuss the connections of Tylenol and autism. This was also the time that it was reported that they were going to be removing mercury from the vaccine. So the FDA updated the new requirements as far as the vaccines are concerned. Now, we could hear more about the DOW. We could hear more about what has truly transpired since RFK was in office. I feel like this is going to be a very intense day. This is also going to be the day of the Scorpio new moon. And as you can see, the moon's going to be at 29 degrees. This Cazimi is going to almost directly oppose Uranus. So there could be a lot that is brought up on this day. At 11/22, we're going to have Mercury trine Saturn at 25 degrees, as you can see here, okay? The sun is already going to be in 0 degrees of Sagittarius. And the last time this trine was exact was in Scorpio and Pisces. And this is when a lot of the trade deals and the tensions were heating up with Canada. It was announced that there was not going to be a trade deal, that they were going to start pausing on that. And this is also the day, it was actually the day before, 10/24, the ceasefire in Gaza was announced. So I do feel that we're going to hear a little bit more about the progress and where they are as far as the ceasefire is concerned. And we'll get a little bit more updates in that area. On 11/22, we're going to have Mercury trine Jupiter. And the last time that this happened was on 10/24. So the U.S. met with China, and the UN urged the blue and white state to open the border in Rafah. So I do feel that we're going to have more themes connected to what was going on at that time, specifically with Jupiter now being retrograde. On 11/24, we're going to have Mercury conjunct Venus at 22 degrees. The last time that this happened was on 3/11, and this was at 8 degrees of Aries. So there was a drone strike in Ukraine, and Izzy was accused of weaponizing humanitarian aid. Former president in the Philippines was arrested with the ICC, and we also had a stock market crash. So these are key dates to look out for. Go back through your camera roll, see what was going on in your life, see what themes you're going to be re-examining. And these are key dates of where you should look at to see how this Mercury retrograde is going to affect you. As always, be mindful about signing any contracts. Don't do any work to your car. You want to do all that after Mercury stations direct. And check all emails. I love you all. I'll see you soon. Bye.